Okay, what I'm going to do is attempt to give you an input on how to develop your business case. Now, if you decide to do a tender, then much of what I'm arguing will be similar. Instead of getting the template for a business case that I put into this this video, or the links to in this video, then you should get you should have a template for a tender. But one of the problems with the tenders is that the full proper industrial tender will ask the client, the people applying, for a lot of information which you don't need for this coursework. So basically what you need for this coursework is to set out a business case as if you were doing the problem yourself. The background exercise will be the same whichever thing you're going to do. So I would suggest that your major difference between doing it as a business case and a tender was really deciding which of the two was the most sensible way ahead for the coursework that you're going to do. So I've given some examples in this thing of a business case that I've produced and been working on, and the business case actually failed. So if you follow a similar pattern and exactly the same, you will then fail your coursework. Now, you can improve upon it for us. So the objectives here is for us to look at a template. It's a template that's provided. It's an NIC template. It's specifically around medical applications, but a lot of what's put into there is similar for any other type of business case that you're trying to build. So what we'll do by looking at the template is look at what others think we should put in. What we're going to do is look at a bad example of a real business case that's been done, look at some of the things that went wrong with it, identify a probable template. That's something you're going to have to do for yourself. And so the first business case that I ever had to do was to when the university was setting up the Malaysia campus, it wanted to have multimeter super corridor access, and the MSc allowed a lot of money saving to happen for the university. So it was a valuable thing to do as a business case, and this one actually worked. So the main thing was that it gave us tax breaks and it gave us cheaper access to the internet services that we might want to set up, and they were vital for the place. And what we had to do in that business case was to prove that we were actually going to be useful to Malaysia, and in this case to looking at the number of ICT graduates per year. So we had a format, and the format was basically around how many graduates are you going to produce, why you think you're going to be able to expand and get those things, what do you do, what do you intend to invest in the thing yourself to get this output. So the reason I mention this one is that basically the business case is answering this question: why you? Why should you be given this money, this job? And other business plans seek to do the same sort of thing. Why us? So looking at who are we? So that's one of the reasons we've asked you to do a mission statement, whatever you want, whichever approach you've taken. So you can set out who you are. What do you think your company is supposed to be doing? What do you do? So the other thing then is, what is our market? And that should be backed up in your background research with financial analysis. How will we make money out of this? So if you go for a tender, you won't actually necessarily put that into the tender, how much money it will be worth specifically, but you will have done the background research in your background documents. And if you're looking for investment from somebody else, then you'll be asking, how much will we give you back for your investment, and over how long a period? Now, the next practical plan I did then was for NIHR funding. So we, National Institute for Health Research, funds a lot of research in medicine and investigation for Eye for Eye is the project system we went through. The other one is research for patient benefit, the other one I've done. It pays for the research to justify bringing something to market. So it's not the funding you need to actually bring it to market. It's the funding you need to take it to the point where you could bring it to market. So the questions we were asked to solve were, therefore, is the problem worth solving? So the question that comes down to, are there people who need healing, and why is the current treatment not working? The other thing is that you need to show that you have the ability to create the new treatment that you're proposing. And then what's coming back to the investor? Well, in this case, will it make money, or will it mend more people cheaper, more effectively than the current treatment? Is it going to be more effective? Because if it's more effective, it doesn't have to be cheaper, but it can produce a better result for the country. So that's what the NIH are interested in, the result for the NHS. So we needed to move from the success of the last stage to actually delivering the product. We've made a couple of attempts at writing up the business application. We're currently writing up the final report, but we've recently done a new NIHR application that has failed. Great. The business case wasn't done well enough as far as they were concerned. So we've had to revamp the business case, and actually a lot of other things have come into play that mean that our actual business case has had to be significantly altered. So let's look at a template. The NIC, National Innovation Centre template, has that's the one that the NX expects you to use, and I'll give you a link here to that actual template. So I downloaded this already. I've got it on a website that still exists in the university, but I should probably put it on Moodle once I can get access to Moodle again. For some reason today they've not been letting me in. So there are various bits that you don't need, but there are various bits that will be common to most business cases. And good to start with these things. So I'll go back to that just now. So these sections, not all of which are necessarily relevant to your work. Obviously they're not about making a small gaming company expand, but this executive summary, introduction overview, market analysis, assessment of benefits, all of these things are things that will be useful. Risks, research resource requirements. So long-term funding sources, timing, certainty. Basically, it's a good thing. So we did a first go. In my actual thing, there are lots of names and original things that you can't have for GDPR reasons, and quite a lot of it's not relevant to you. So I've included some of the executive summary, which will allow you to look at and come with conclusions. So the actual workshop, if we've been able to do it, would be tomorrow. Would be discussing what's wrong with this executive summary and what's wrong with the some other bits. So again, this is on a website on the university, but I will also put it onto Moodle for you. So feel free to go through this and point out the mistakes. That's what we were going to do in the workshop if we'd been able to get together to do the workshop. It's not good, but it's not bad. The basic structure is okay, and it does summarize what's to be done, what is needed to do this, where we get the stuff from. I've got some more detail on the financial argument, but up on still up on the internet, so I've got another summary, and this is main financial analysis, our market analysis, and stuff like that. None of this is commercial in confidence. None of it actually infringes on anybody's individual personal results. In all of these things you could work out for yourself from the internet mostly. Apart from, you of course don't have some of the stuff about us, but those are the headlines, and you should be able to find those on the internet. But I will also again put them onto the Moodle when I can get access to it once more. So we were looking for a probable template. I think actually with some changes, not many, you could use the NIC template fairly easily. You need most of the sections. Now you've got a limit to the number of words you can use, so you won't need to say as much as we do in our one. So don't, look at Gail's coursework description. That should give you the focus on what the main parts where you're going to get most of the marks are. You will see there are a lot of typos in that thing that we sent out first. Some of it really is very strange. Make sure you don't have typos, because they will definitely lose you marks. Okay, specifically grammatical errors that we've got in there. We also did the financial calculation, and if you'd like to look at the sort of thing we're expecting you to produce, then the finance spreadsheet is on there. So this was talking about doing this for last year. How much money were we expecting in, and what cash out? So we're looking here at the cash flows, which we discussed before, and looking for what would be a decent cash flow that might suggest that somebody should invest in our product. So you'll see this is our cash in bank, and it goes gradually down as we do the project, and then we start to sell the product and expect to start selling and making money. So that sort of prediction. By December of this year we were expecting to make this money. Okay, so those things, as I say, will be on the Moodle pages. Now, I haven't calculated a rate of return or a net present value in that thing. You should do those sorts of things, because they will gain you marks, and they're an easy way of describing to people why it's worth investing in you. You need a risk section, and all of those calculations should take place in the research, and then the answers go into the business plan. And I've said here these are covered in the next 2 lectures. Well, actually, I'm not expecting to do 2 more lectures. I think we've basically covered everything this year already, so these things have actually been covered in previous lecture that Gail gave, and Gail and I put online on yesterday.